Hello and welcome, everyone. I'm hoping that comments and everything are going to come up fine today. So, welcome, replay viewers. And as you're popping on live, you're welcome to say hello. If you're on replay, let me know so that I can greet you in the comments. I do always go over the comments. I do always answer everyone's questions. So feel free, whether you're live or not, to leave questions, leave comments, engage, hang out with me. Okay, so today is our final workshop, officially our live stream series in our portal event. The Lions Gate portal closes today per se. This is the sort of end of the portal period. And you may have already felt a shift in the energy from a high frenzied energy. Often when there's really big waves of energy colliding on the planet, we feel them more intensely. So you may be noticing that compared to now where you're feeling, oh, it feels a little bit more cozy and more like, okay, business as usual. Business as usual in the manifestation or the crafting of manifestations is where we're going today. So I want to talk about that so that if your manifestation hasn't dropped in yet, and for most people that I've heard from, your manifestations are large visions, right? So you probably couldn't manifest all of it in a week. Hey, good morning, Lisa. Mwah. I hope you had a nice weekend. Oh my gosh, it's raining here today, and I was thinking of you. I was like, we've got rain all week on the East Coast. Hopefully you do on the West. Okay, so sustainable transformation, sustainable crafting of manifestation, business as usual. We don't need, I want to make this clear to everyone if they're feeling behind, you do not need high, intense portal energies to manifest. Manifesting is a natural state of your beingness. You are always manifesting. You might not be manifesting what you want, you might not be manifesting consciously, you might not be manifesting at speeds you want, and hopefully you've got lots of ideas after the last 2 weeks with me, right? But you're always manifesting, and the learning the craft of ongoing manifestation alongside living life is actually a power move, right? Like, we don't want always to be manifesting in sprints. And there's sometimes fun manifesting in sprints, but sometimes we want our manifestations to just be sustainable, just be who we be. We're constantly in a state of manifestation and expansion and transformation. And so how do we do that in a potent way, not like a snail's pace haphazard way, but a clear, potent, awesome, sustainable way? That's where we're going today. Okay, so having said all that, I'm going to dive right into the class so that we're not just sitting around waiting for people. There are people here. Good morning, everyone. But let's just jump all right into it. So there's a few things that we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about navigating paradox in manifestation. We're going to talk about what to do when your manifestation is stalled out or isn't moving at the speed that you want. Hello, Lou. Good morning. Woohoo. We're going to talk about how to find inspired action steps. And action steps, I want to be clear, sometimes there's action and sometimes the action step, good morning, Lisa. Lots of Lisas here today. Sometimes our action step is not a physical action we need to be taking. It's an internal somatic piece that we need to be working on, right? So when I say inspired action step, I don't necessarily mean adding stuff to the to-do list. Okay, so that's all the stuff that we're really going to cover today. I'm sure there's a ton of nuance in all of that, but I'm going to just dive on in. Okay, so paradox in manifestation. Frankly, it comes up a lot, and for people who are new to manifestation and intentional manifestation and how do I craft that consciously, that can do people's heads in. It's like you get conflicting information. Oh, do it this way. No, do the opposite. Do it this way, right? And what is going on here is there are a lot of paradoxes in spiritual practice, right? And now more than ever, ascensionally speaking, we are having to learn to hold paradox comfortably in our bodies. It is not either or, it is yes and. Okay, so in fact, I would say, and this has been the case forever, right? But it's come to crunch point in our ascensional evolution, where it's not really optional anymore. So it feels like it's really present. Is this idea that all in the past we might have called it enlightenment, and ascension is often what we're calling it now, personal evolution of the soul, all of that journey, whatever words you like to use for it. One of the main things that sits at the base of all of that is our ability to comfortably hold paradox in our body with ease, to be at peace, to not be like, I'm flipping between this and this, and oh my God, they're opposite of each other. Which way do I go, right? No. So let me give you an example of one. And I want you to consider, can both of these things be 100% truth? 100% truth and valid at exactly the same time. Not one is not dominating the other. They're both going to sit comfortably in your body as truth. Okay, here's one. This is not a manifesting one per se. Well, it's a governing one for everything, right? I am 100% divine and I am 100% human. Okay, that is paradox that hopefully you're familiar with. I'm not sure where everyone is with their journeys, right? But that is something that should be just absolute, yep, I'm comfortable with both of those as 100% truths in my body. I'm not flip-flopping, I'm not feeling confused, I'm like sometimes divine, sometimes human, right? I'm like, okay, I can hold both of these. Now, that's a general one. So let's look now at manifestation, because there's a lot that come up. And they pretty much all come up under the broader umbrella of attachment versus non-attachment, right? And so on the attachment side, we have this idea of clarity and will and intention and direction, right? This is what I'm calling in. This is what it looks like. These are the specifics. This is when I want it by. Like all of those things that you're taught to be very clear on. And we're taught that because we want to create a clear, solid, energetic container with strong magnetic vibrancy, right? So that it's birthed solidly on a higher dimensional plane. And all the other reasons. We see proof, we have a clear funnel, we have the container. There's a lot of reasons, and maybe I'll dive into them as we go, right? So that's not true. That's true, right? And at the same time, we often get the advice that, oh, you can't be overly attached to your manifestation. You have to stay focused on your manifestation, but don't be attached to your manifestation, right? And that can do people's heads in. Wow, I remember for years when I was younger, that doing my head in. It's like flip-flopping between the two, right? And how do we navigate that? The paradox of it is done, but it's not here yet. Right? There's a lot of paradox sitting inside manifestation. And if we want to be able to navigate a sustainable, potent manifesting craft, we need to hold it comfortably in our bodies. We don't want it mucking around and creating flip-flops inside us. It's like, well, how can we sit with both of them as truth, right? Okay, so we might have that attachment and that specificity, right, happening within our desire and our clarity. We might have it in the area of time frames. Time frames are one of those funny things, right? Sometimes whoever's teaching your manifestation process, and there's many out there, right, will say, and when do you want to buy? And you're going to be really specific, right? And they're creating a really solid container. They're creating a lot of magnetism. They're basically, the width of the container helps create the speed, right? Like how you want to, if you have no container and you're just plopping energy in with no energetic container to hold it, and this is part of what ritual does, right? Then the energy can flow fluffle out like water just in a puddle in every direction. It can lose potency, right? The tighter we create our containers, and the more magnetic we are about in our clarity, we're pulling it down, right? But here's the flip side of not having time, or having a time frame and missing it. Oh my God, what does that mean? Does that mean my whole manifestation failed? Like, where does that leave me? That one puts people into all sorts of doubt, fear. Oh, it's my fault, or I'm not good enough, or oh, I don't deserve it, or whatever the hell comes up, right? And then we flip into a repelling, polarizing energy. That is not good, right? So sometimes the things take what they take, and the internal journey needs to just go on. And then we need to be non-attached. We need to be like, I want it now, X time, right? And this is just who I be, and this is how I show up, and I live from this manifestation, and it will just drop into form at some point along the way, right? Then there's the paradox. This is all under the same heading, right? Of proof and specifics versus this or something better. Okay, I'm turning it all over. I'm surrendering. You give me what you want, right? And then what are the specifics that this looks like, and why do we give specifics? Again, specifics are giving us our energetic container, our clarity, and they're giving us proof. Your energy body, your somatic body, it doesn't actually need the proof. The mind needs the proof. The mind appreciates the proof. And it's a bit like following the breadcrumbs or being the detective. Can you see directionally parts of it dropping in as you're going? Oh, I'm on track. Yep, bits are coming, right? And so again, these are not in conflict. We need to hold both of these. Can you surrender to this and something better? And we talked about that in the very first workshop, right? Can you authentically say, or something different, right? How attached are you to the vision? Can you honestly say, or something better, right? And this is coming up here inside our paradoxes, right? So the overarching paradox that we're working with here is our will, our clarity, our I am state, declaring as a creator with clarity, with specifics, with tight container, keeping focus, keeping action, versus non-attachment. I'm curious, I'm open, I'm trusting this or something better. My relationship with the divine, like, this is all an experiment, I'm all good, right? So you can see here, this is the journey that you want to hold comfortably in your body. Okay, so just sit with it now and feel the two states, because I bet you any money they're both there in your body. So just feel them and notice where they are in your body, and just allow room for both. Okay, now you can actually play a lot with learning to hold paradoxes really comfortably with spaciousness in the body as a weaver, right? But we don't need that right now. What you need right now in today's class, you just need to be able to go, oh yeah, I feel this one up here and I feel this one down here, or I feel this one across my back body and this one across my front body. Just notice where you're feeling the energies of those two coins of the paradox, and then just expand a little and go, you know what? Both of these can sit in my body fine. Okay? I can flow moving backwards and forwards. Neither one has to be more true than the other. Okay? So we'll talk more about all of this in depth, but for now let's talk a little bit more about the non-attachment, right? And what are we doing here? And the non-attachment is around creating that sustainability that we want. I would love to see everyone be out of sprint mode and hustle mode in their manifestations, right? Overall, we want to evolve out of that to our craft of manifestation is an ongoing, sustainable, joyful process. It's not urgent, it's not rushed, it's not like, oh my God, I need it now, right? And there are sometimes that it feels like that, and I understand that, especially if we're trying to get out of suffering. And we talked about stripping suffering. We're going to talk about it some more today, right? But we want sustainable, joyous practice. Remember, from the divine level, you can have whatever you want, right? That's just experience what you want, go for it, it's all up for grabs, right? And your soul is interested in growing, in the evolution of the you, right? And so your manifestation process is actually a huge opportunity. Think about the things you've manifested in the past. I would bet any money that every single one of your meaningful manifestations has created transformation in who you be as a person, right? Because that's at the spiritual underlying energetic principles behind the manifestation. Sure, we're calling in the awesomeness, but you had an internal alchemy, internal transformation, growth. Who you be shifted, grew, evolved in the process, in the journey, and in the having of the thing, right? So this is the state where we want to be able to hang out super comfortably. This is just who I be. So think about your manifestation goal that you've been sort of working on. Now, of course, you can work on any manifestation goal, but you've all been working on one during Lionsgate. But know that this is obviously relevant for everything. But think about your Lionsgate manifestation goal right now, okay? And have a think about what essences you worked on, what growth journey you worked on. When you did your timeline essence, especially that one. If anyone hasn't done it, go do it. It's in the extra resources. It's a good one, right? What were you believing? What did you now believe in the future when you had it, right? What actions were you taking? What were you not taking? What was the felt state in your body as your new default state? Oh yeah, this is who I be. You want to be living from the manifestation essence. You want to be living from the manifestation beliefs and the manifestation actions before it's in form. Okay? So as opposed to, I'm trying to get to it, it's not here yet, it's not here yet, it's not here yet. That is going to put you into suffering. That is actually kind of a repelling, if we think about that magnetic quality of energy, that's actually, you're flipping the poles and saying, it's not here yet, it's not here yet. You're pushing the manifestation further back rather than pulling it. You want to be living from your manifestation. Okay, this is who I be. These are the actions I take now. These are the beliefs I hold now. This is the way I intentionally invoke to feel in my body, right? Okay, and this is regardless of whether the specifics of the manifestation have dropped into form or not. Okay, you probably see little bits of them. We're going to talk about how do I see whether I'm on the right path, what's the right direction, right? But you want to be living in that essence now. Okay, and you obviously want to stay in the energy of fluidity. Last workshop we talked a lot about fluidity. Highly recommend you check that one out. But that energy of fluidity, response, curious, it's an experiment. What is showing up in the classroom of your life? Now, I haven't talked about this a huge amount, but now is a really good time to bring up. The classroom of your life is giving you all the material you need to decipher the path, to know where you're going, to know if it's dropping in or not, to understand what's going on in your energy at any given time. It's all present in the classroom of your life. So if you're looking at the classroom of your life now and you're wondering, am I on the right path? We look for a few things, and I'm gonna go into detail in just a second. But I want you to understand that the classroom of your life is a great place to be. It's almost like the mirror. It's the sounding board. It's where you get to see, and you want to be responding to that all the time. You might discover that as your manifestation, as you are in the ongoing sustainable craft of manifesting and dropping this into form, a whole new growth journey is presented to you. An internal transformation comes up. Some of you have already mentioned the epiphanies of, oh my God, this is what it is, right? And you may be seeing that because of the classroom of your life, and you may be seeing it from higher guidance, and it's often a mixture of them, right? Or your essence, right? But you want to be responding to what's showing up. So you need to stay fluid in this process, right? And this is the surrendered piece. This is working with the energy. Just realize my it's hanging out there. Okay, so this is all the different versions of the paradox that we're going to learn to hold more comfortably, okay? So lulls and voids. Let's talk about, because it's often a big one, as we're manifesting, there is a lag time between it's here on higher form and it hasn't yet dropped on into form, right? It is done, but it's not here yet, right? So we want to play with what are we doing in that process. And there's a few things that you want to look. I'm going to give you 5 places to look automatically if things are slowing down, but 3 ways to navigate, well, how do I know, right? And the first is the classroom of your life. What is occurring in the classroom of your life? And you want to then look at, are you spiraling up to, or spiraling up to the manifestation, or spiraling away, towards or away? And are you being magnetic, right? So let's talk about those right now, and they'll all be echoing in the classroom of your life and in your body. Okay, so first of all, let's look at this idea of spiraling up and spiraling down. Okay, so when you're on the direct path, the inspired path, even if that is a path of essence and stillness and just receiving, right? And there is a huge time and place for receiving. It's a massive, I've talked about it, right? Massive piece of the whole thing, right? But when you're on that path, you're either spiraling up into the manifestation or you're spiraling down away from the manifestation. And this is in your thoughts. This is in the self-talk you're hearing. This is in how committed am I to suffer here, right? This is in how your feeling state, your energy body, right? Are you magnetic? Are you pulling the manifestation to you, or are you repelling it away from you? And you can see all this coming back at you in the classroom of your life. And it could be the babyest step. I want everyone to remember, this is not about completion or perfection. This is, am I pointed in the right direction? And is there even the smallest hint that, oh yes, I'm in the right direction, right? And that could be just an echoing back of the right essence state. You might get more experiences of your essence popping into existence. You may just get a small piece of proof. Someone reached out to you and handed you a book that's exactly the answer to a question. Someone reached out to you wanting to work with you, just one email, right? One more person said they were interested in your project or whatever, right? It doesn't have to be a landslide. You're looking for, are we going in the right direction? Is the currents of creation moving through my manifestation and not round it? Because if it's moving through it, you'll be seeing small bits of proof that are letting you know, right, I'm on track here. I'm going in the right direction. Now, there will be times in your manifestation where you hit a lull or a void and you're like, whoa, no, I'm suddenly, everything's slowed down. I don't have the feedback coming back to me in any way, shape or form, somehow, right? Even in subtle nuance that I'm in the right direction, right? That I'm still magnetically, that the process is happening. Okay, and so what do we do in those lulls, right? I'm going to give you 5 things that you can look to do, and one of them might be the answer, a combo of them, whatever, but one of these will be what you need to get momentum moving again. Okay, so the first one is the concept of closing loops. Often as we're manifesting, our brains get really hooked on what next? What do I do now? What do I do now? What do I do now? It's very grasping. It's in this state of solving problems. Your brain solves problems. It's what it wants to do. Make meaning and solve problems. Make meaning, solve problems, right? And so you can get into a situation where you start a ton of actions in service to your manifestation, and then you don't complete on all of them. right? You reach out to a ton of people and a few people get back to you on the project, but you don't reply to them. Or you start something, but you leave it kind of open on the browser and you don't complete on it, right? It's like, oh, order that book, and then you don't, right? Like you hold on it. So if you look now over your manifestation, have you already opened energetic loops? Close them. Sometimes that's all you need to do to re-kickstart the momentum. And what are we doing here? We're looking for leaks and we're checking it. If we're putting out energy and we're just letting it leak out without closing it again, we don't want that. Okay, that'll slow down the manifestation. So check. Do you have open loops that you can just close? Right? Completion pieces inside here. Okay. Do you need to have a time frame adjustment? Okay, so usually the biggest void that happens in a manifestation is if you said you were going to get your goal in a week and it didn't drop in that time and you go into wobble, right? Now, you can manifest, here's another paradox, you can manifest instantaneously, but you have to be in complete alignment in your evolutionary growth, in your somatic body, in your energy body, right? For that just to be instant. And those things happen, and there has to be a certain level of expectation and belief, right? And you've probably all got that on some level of manifestation, right? Here's the classic one, the parking spots. The parking spots, right? Those of us who have practiced or learnt the craft of manifestation, little things like that, we don't even, not an issue. I just go straight on into any car park that says it's full. That's like not even, that's not for me, not relevant, right? Because I know as soon as I go into that car park, someone is going to leave and pull out and I'm just going to pull straight in, right? Like there's no wobble there, right? This is an expectation, okay? Hadn't thought of energetic loops being left open. Of course, yeah, it's super depleting, correct. Always close your loops. Good one. That might be your epiphany today, Lisa. Okay, but if you're trying to manifest, and so then you can have your instantaneous manifestations, right? All the time. And the more fluid your energy body is, the more those levels of manifestations become whitewater rapids of manifestation. There's boom, boom, boom across the day, right? You have a very fluid body. All of that drops in. You're in 5D. Right? That's that state. Now, usually if we're manifesting something bigger, like than just a car spot, right? Which we're like, whatever, that's just the norm for me. That's who I be. That's who I be. This is why it's working instantly. There's no conflict in us, right? Sometimes the bigger ones, we have more wobble. We have more conflict, right? And so often when we miss a time frame that we set in our manifestation, we go into wobble. Right? And it might not be the time frame, but it's a classic one, so I'm bringing it to the table. So what are we doing here? Okay. Typically, a lull or a void in a manifestation is a sign to move, if you've already closed loops, is to move your awareness to the internal transformation. That is what, if you tweak that, that might be the last piece that creates the drop in, right? So the lull, the void, the why is nothing coming back at me all of a sudden, that's so weird, is always move to the internal transformation, right? So we're looking for the energetic movement, the magnetic awareness, right? So here's an example. Yesterday, I felt a sudden lull or void in the manifestation. I could have wobbled, I could have gone into panic. No, I just tune inwards. Now for me, I needed to way ramp up my magnetic state. So in service to my manifestation yesterday, it did not look like work at all. I went with some friends and we had we went and did a big community sauna and cold plunges, and we hung out and ate chocolate. I came home and I had a big weave, right? Like all of that was about resetting my magnetic state. I obviously did essence work in that, and that was all in service to essence, by the way, all of that action. I laid down new essence tracks. I refreshed my essences that were, I was re-invoking essences, but sometimes we want to lay down a new track over the top. We want to refresh, we want to build, right? This is what I was doing yesterday, was all about, right, amplify essence state, get back into the correct magnetic position, right? Awesome. That's what we want to do. It was divine. It was really awesome. Okay. So we want to remember that's the first piece, right? Well, am I repelling? Am I magnetic? What's the internal transformation? I felt my energy was moving into not like, this can be very subtle in the nuance, right? So I'm not saying it was like, I don't want this anymore or whatever. And sometimes that happens too, by the way. That's a conversation for another time. But maybe it's just like, wow, I do not joyously feel in expansion. My energy isn't open to this. I feel stressed. I feel anxious. I feel overwhelmed by it. I feel like there's too much to do, or I'm not capable, or whatever it is, right? All of those energies are actually not magnetic, right? So that might be what's causing the lull or the void. And then you're all in on essence work. All in. You're either going to invoke your essences, you're going to create some new essences, or you're going to lay down and refresh the energetic grooves in your essences already with new experience. Right? Okay. The other thing in your internal transformation, you may need to clear sufferings. We talked about that gunk. There's sometimes clogs, and then the currents of creation are not moving through the manifestation, they're kind of detouring around it. Okay, that might be what's happening. And so listen to your self-talk. Listen, like you're feeling the magnetic state in your body. Do you feel heaviness, or do you feel open expansion and joy around this, right? And then you're listening to self-talk here, right? What are you really telling yourself? What's going on? Listen. And notice if there's a part of you, your worried part, which is what we've just called it for the sake of this chunk of work, your worried part might be up in concern, right? It might need a tweak. And it might, in all honesty, be providing you with something helpful that will allow you to tweak your manifestation to be in better alignment or service to you, right? Because of what's coming up in the classroom of your life, the feedback, right? Or your part may be just letting you know of one of those core woundings that we all have sitting there, popping itself up again. And you're like, right, what can I do to heal this? Right? Sometimes you just want to think about what your worried part is bringing to the table and go, okay, well, how do I mitigate that? Maybe there is an action to refine in my manifestation. The question to ask is, how can this fear, and I use the word fear very broadly, could be manifesting as doubt or anxiety or overwhelm or all sorts of things. We'll just call it fear for now. How can this fear relax so that you aren't in suffering anymore? Right? That is what you're looking for here. Right? So you do not want to ignore the self-talk. Sometimes we just try to plow on. I don't hear it, la, 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 right? No. I want you to, but I also, on the flip side, don't want you to attach to the fear side so much that you just hand it the steering wheel. Just hand it over, right? And go, yes, okay. Like, don't let it overwhelm you. We want to hear it. We want to support and soothe it. We want to take its wisdom if we can, right? We don't want to over-attach. If we over-attach to it, then we shift the energy of the core of the manifestation, and we'll manifest it in a distorted form, or we'll just become magnetically repellent to it, right? That's what's going to happen if you over-attach to any of the fear, right? So how do we instead relax it? If you do not address the part, then it has a ridiculous amount of subconscious power, and its ability to affect your beliefs, your actions, and your energetic resonance is massive. Do not ignore it, okay? Instead, soothe it, mitigate it, take the wisdom from it, let it know. Even if you're going, honey, we're doing this anyway, even if you're worried about it, but I've got this, it's okay. Even if that's the best you can do, you're just going to soothe it. You're still hearing it, right? And you will feel it soften just a little bit. Now, sometimes you can get it to soften completely by tweaking your manifestation, by thinking about what do I need to do? Where do I need to grow? Where does this part need to grow? Is there something in my manifestation's actual specifics that I want to tweak that I've realized, whoa, In the process of manifesting this, I've realized this is not the being state that I want to live in the future, so I need to tweak, right? This is responding to the situation, right? So you're looking for a small conversation with a quick shift in energy. May not be perfect, may not feel totally complete. A little shift in energy, a softening of the part, and then we just release. Okay? Then we just release. So the internal transformation in the growth journey is often why the void is sitting there. Okay? Lisa, I'm going to get to your comment in 1 second. I'll just finish this little bit here. Okay, so don't ignore the worried part, but also don't hand it the steering wheel. Okay. Here are some questions that you can ask it, or ask yourself, right? From a broader inner leader of yourself. If you think of yourself as a mother governing all of your smaller parts of you, right? This is the love, this is the compassion, this is the support, this is also the leadership that you want to be holding here, right? So, well, is that truth? Is that really truth? Are you going to take that on as truth, what this part of you is saying? Okay. Has that actually ever happened before, right? So often when we get into a wobble state, we catastrophize, we blow out, right? And it's like, often I ask a client, wow, okay, I can see that's a legit concern. Has that actually ever happened to you before? They'll be like, no. Okay, it's legit, but has it ever happened? Because that could soften, right? Do you want to take that on as truth? And what is really the core concern here? So often, if you dive a little deeper, you'll think that you're worried about X, but you're really worried about Y. And Y is something that you might not want to really admit to another person, and I'm not asking you to, but you should know what it is, okay? You should go, okay, what is really the concern here? Because that's what actually needs to be resolved. And it could be the final mismatch. You could be just here, and when you do that, and then it just drops straight in, okay? So how can I do this differently? Here we are releasing this idea of suffering. It's like, I'm hating this piece, or I'm scared of this piece, or now scared of this piece, I'm not going to lie to you. If you're manifesting something you've never manifested before, and it's going to require growth, then you're probably going to step outside of your comfort zone for it. And not a long way outside of your comfort zone. That will just kick up so much resistance and craziness that you'll probably stall things out. But just outside of comfort zones. So maybe scale it back and pull it to be just outside. Okay? There is a little bit of bravery often happening. But sometimes it's like, can I just do this differently? Right? Sometimes, especially for those of us who are overcomplicators, whoa, do I need to do all of this? Maybe I don't. Can I just do this differently? Can I come at this from a different perspective? Right? And so we call this spiraling in and spiraling out on our manifestations. Right? And it's interesting, I learned this principle. I've applied it to a lot of things over the years, but I learned this principle from a painting teacher of mine. And she would be like, and she taught a very intuitive painting style, so it makes sense, right? She worked a lot with energy. But like, as you spiral out, as you step back from the manifestation, get higher perspective, see the whole thing, right? Okay, back here I am. It's very different to, I'm right up here in the details. I'm right up at the front of the canvas doing some little piece here and it's driving me nuts, right? Spiral out, right? Same with your manifestation, spiral out, spiral in. Can I be doing this differently? Do I even need to do this? Maybe I've just gone off on a tangent. Maybe the lull in the manifestation, the void I'm experiencing is like, whoa, I'm like way off the side here. I don't know where I went with that, right? How did I get here? Okay. And am I going to choose to step up and think about it differently? And that's the bravery piece. Sometimes it's like, I'm choosing to. Is a different energy to, I don't want to do this, right? So these are all things to look at around clearing your suffering. Okay, so now that I've said that, I'm going to read Lisa's comment. I think it's a question. Take a moment on what I've said here. Tune in right now to any potentially worried part, any part that's creating heaviness or repelling energy, and just hear what they're saying. And ask yourself some of those questions. Okay? Is this really true? Am I going to take this on? Could I be doing this differently? Do I even need to do this? How do I want to reframe it if I am going to do it? Right? Just pause and first hear the part and then think about it. Okay? Okay, Lisa. Back to the paradox and holding both. I'm finding it challenging at the moment to find my feelings of my essences after being within a very angry environment over the weekend. I tried to feel into compassion and to send love to the individual, but I am numb, feeling vacant. So this is my worried blocking part. Hey, it could be part of your worried blocking part, Lisa, honey, and it could be that your body is closed down, shut down in safety, right? And for those of us that are sensitive, and especially those of us that are sensitive to angry energy, your soma will shut down, right? Protective. And your energy body will shut down. Usually it will follow the soma, right? That is not a bad thing. That is a protective mechanism, defense mechanism of the energy body. Okay, so are you out of the angry environment? Because if you cannot get back into a sense of safety, it's like an uphill struggle. Sometimes you need to step way the hell out. Go have a sauna, right? No, but like sometimes you need to just go and do something different. But if you need to be able to relax into safety first, Lisa, and then don't try to be at the beginning. I'm all for service, yep, but don't be in service right at the start. First of all, the compassion goes to you, not the other individual. Compassion goes to you. It goes to the part of you that had to receive the anger, right? Your energy, your essence is for you first. You first. And Lisa, honey, you are such a woman of service that you often give out before you receive, right? You often won't accept the energy or the essence. You just try to gift it, right? To really gift powerfully and potently, you've got to receive it first. So the compassion is for you first. The essence is for you first. And you need to come into some safety so that you can open to the essence. Right? If it's hard to just re-invoke an essence, this can happen when we're really numb, okay? Then you want to go and lay down some new tracks of that essence. Very intentionally go and create an experience of it in the classroom of your life and recapture it, right? In different forms. Refresh the essence rather than just re-invoke it. Okay, our invokes there's like a bell curve on those sorts of energetic essences. They become more powerful as we re-invoke them. The groove gets wider and deeper. And at some point, if we do not refresh and refeed them, then there's a little bit of a diminish. They just get a little too familiar, a little too stale in the body, and they lose a bit of potency. So sometimes we want to refresh or restack on another experience to just reignite the energy of the essence. Does that make sense? Not every essence, some essences hold for ages, but I typically find that sometimes they just need to be re-invoked. And if you're refreshed rather than re-invoked. And if you're feeling numb, then it's often better to re-invoke. Okay, did that answer your question, Lisa? Let me know. And thank you for asking the question, because I bet there's other people who would love that nuanced teaching as well. So anyone else, ask questions. I promise I'll answer. Okay, so everyone else who was thinking, hopefully, about their worried part, is there anything you need to tweak, shift, do differently in service to your manifestation? Okay. Related to this one is this idea of what is the path back to empowerment here. And Lisa, this might actually be an awesome one for you to consider too, right? Sometimes when we tune into ourselves in our manifestation process, we feel in some form of disempowerment. We feel disconnected, we feel hopeless, we feel numb, feel like we can't have it, we feel like we're not in any position of control with it all, whatever it is, right? Those are all what we call a disempowered position, right? Or a victim position, right? You might hear that in psychology and that sort of thing, right? trying to create any form of transformation from a disempowered position is incredibly hard, right? One of the first things, whether you go to see a therapist or you work with an energy healer or whatever you do, one of the first pieces that any form of healing has to, this could be healing or transformation, right? One of the first things is, can you help put your client back into an empowered position, a position of empowerment, right? And so we can ask ourselves the question, what is the path back to empowerment here? And Lisa, if I ask you that right now, what is the path back to empowerment here? And it's likely just to be energy work. It might just be essence work, right? But the path back to empowerment, you'll feel yourself opening up. You'll feel the softening and the release. You'll come back out of lack of safety to safety. Okay, so what is the path to empowerment here? And it's not necessarily you're going to fix it in 1 second, whatever it is, right? But you're moving in the right direction again. Yes, this path feels more empowered to me, right? I'm back in creator space. I'm back understanding who I be. Okay, so the other piece to look in the void, the next piece, where am I magnetic to the manifestation? And so I've talked about that quite a lot, and I'll just check to see that there's nothing else. Yep, sometimes we just need to re-nourish, we need to reset vibrationally, and that is the optimal highest position to be taking, right? We want to realign to the deeper whys, the states of beingness, the values, what we'd worked out in our original crafting statement. Spiral out, step back, come into higher perspective on our manifestation, because sometimes in the process of our manifestation we get bogged into the detail. Come back and then re-nourish and realign to the values again, to the felt states again. Okay, so I've actually just talked about the essence work, and that's all your magnetism right there. Okay. And in relation to that, on the energetic piece, in the very first workshop, I talked to you about what are you releasing in service to the manifestation. And I reminded you that energy, it doesn't do a void, right? If there's a space or a void, energy will fill it, okay? And what will it fill it with? Hopefully something that you want, hopefully your manifestation, right? Or parts of your manifestation, however you want to look at that. And so I asked you to consider, what are you willing to release and let go of, be that an action, a habit, a pattern, a belief, all of those things are up for grab, a situation, right? In service to the manifestation. Take a look now. If there's no momentum in your manifestation and you're stalled out, where are you sitting with releasing what you're in service to? Because these are all places to find an inspired action step. So if you hear that and you go, oh, ding, that might be the place to look, right? Okay, and the other really big one that I want you to consider, this is like the universal principle. Often when our manifestation is voided and lulled out and we're like, where's it gone, right? Or it's taking too long or whatever, it's typically a state that we're over-attaching to the physical, to what the Buddhists would call the samsara, the illusion, the pieces, the bits, the thing, right, on the physical plane. And if you get into that state sometimes and you get really angsty and grasping about it, you become repellent, right, because it kicks up all sorts of weird stuff inside you. And so what do you do in that situation? And the situation is, what you choose to attach to is your relationship to the divine. You drop for a moment your over-attachment to the thing, to the specifics, to the details, to the time frames, whatever it is, right? And you reattach and you recommit to your relationship to the divine. And that often has trust and faith involved in it. This or something better, right? All of those pieces that we talked about. We turn over the fear, we turn over the complication, the hustle. We ask for intervention. We remember we are in co-creative partnership. We're not trying to push it through from the 3D. We're trying to open to receive it from the 7th or 9th, right? So we attach to our relationship. We focus our relationship on the divine again. Okay? Lisa, other Lisa, there's so many Lisas today. I keep dropping into suffering. I need manifesting to ease my suffering. Right. So this is the growth journey, Lisa, and this is actually the mastery piece here. Awesome. Awesome, you're even aware of it. Right? And now come back to, okay, how am I going to work with that suffering? Come back to the worried part. Come back to, could I do it differently? Do I need to do it this way? Can I choose to think about it differently? Can I take it on differently? Right? And yeah, strip the sufferings, right? So we strip the suffering when we crafted, but the big piece is, can we continually tweak minor adjustments? Now, any and all of these are minor adjustments usually, okay? I didn't tell you in this to like do a huge action, like write a book or go and commit to the gym for 8 hours, or I don't know, whatever it might be for you. These are small, consistent tweaks responding to what you're seeing in the classroom of your life, which is showing you the energy of the manifestation process. It is showing you the currents of creation moving through your life. Okay, so all of those, any of those 5 steps is where you look at when you're stalled out, or when you're like before the manifestation is here but you still need to work it, right? And all of that actually can be feeling joyful, right? Energy moves through the body, but it moves through our lives along the pathways of pleasure, okay, and joy. It is not meant to feel crappy. You actually want your magnetism to be, that helps point you in the right direction, okay? Manifestation is not a suffering act. It is not holding your breath. It is not hustling. It is not like sprinting and trying to hold some sort of insane momentum until it gets here. All of those are commitments to suffering. All of those, right? And we don't want those. I am getting the glimmers in the classroom of my life. I had one walking minute. Go, awesome. Perfect. So good. Right, so then I would say, Lisa, that you are spiraling up. You're in the right way. And you can just allow those 2% shifts, the little tiny tweaks, to keep compounding. You're going in the right direction. You're building the magnetism, right? So this is all awesome. That's excellent. And so your inspired action step is more along the lines of thank you, this and more, right direction, right? Not, oh, tweak and change, recalibrate, reset. This is more like this and more, stack and build, okay? Okay, so what we're going to end on today here, there was a lot in that, right? First of all, hopefully you've gotten an idea. But if you haven't, I'm going to take you through a guided process right now on the call so that you can find out for you what your next inspired action step is. Where is it? Where's the direct path? How do I get it? What do I need to be doing? Where to from here? Right? You can obviously do this process many times, but let us just do it once here. Okay. I haven't done this one, so I'm not sure how long it will take, but I will try to make it quick. Usually the first time I do something with you, I guide you a little slower so you can feel it. But as you take this on and own it, it will get faster and faster, okay? Okay. So it will be helpful to have something to scribble on as the intuitions come to you, okay? It doesn't have to be a gorgeous special Akashic journal. It doesn't have to be your favorite pen. It could be a crayon on the back of a paperback, right? It's not a big deal, but you want to be able to scribble down something. So just grab anything that's near you. Okay, so find a comfortable position. Just get your body into a relaxed state and take a moment just to do what we call a soma scan, but check in with yourself. From the top of your head, just scan down your body. And as you're moving down your body, this first sweep, just look at the physicality of what's going on in your body. How are you feeling? Do you need to adjust so you're a little more comfortable? Have you got any tweaks, anything that you want to shift? Legitimately move your body into a position that actually really feels comfortable. that feels more easeful, that feels in a relaxed, open state. We do not want to try and receive intuition in a closed off state. That's hard to do. Okay. As you bring your awareness right down to your feet and you come back up again, I want you to imagine, sense, see, feel, whatever it is for you, your energy body. And just notice for a start, how magnetic are you feeling around your manifestation goal? Do you feel like, oh, hold on, I could have flipped and I might actually be repelling it right now? Or no, I'm magnetic, right? Or I'm neutral, but I'm not repelling, right? Just notice, is your energy body safe or is it closed? Is your soma closed down? Lisa Rose, you were mentioning you're a bit closed down, a bit disconnected. Well, how's that showing up in your energy map as you read up? Is your energy flowing through your body with fluidity? Or do you feel blocks and jerks and like voids in your body where you're kind of like, I can't even sense that at all, right? No judgment, we're just being curious on the scan. Just notice, what's the state that's going on? Okay. And so now I want you to bring your awareness to your breath. And I want you, as you inhale, to follow your breath into your body. And as you exhale, follow the breath out of the body. You may even feel the air leaving the lips or the nostrils, breathing in, feel the air coming down the nasal passages, feel the top of the lungs expanding, the rib cage expanding, the diaphragm dropping. Right? And then feel all that reverse on the exhale. And as you're breathing like this, find the breath that feels complete to you. Not uncomfortable, not over full, but that feels complete. And allow yourself to come into that breath pattern, following the breath in and out of the body. And feel the expansion and contraction of the body, of the soma on the breath. Intentionally complete on the in-breath and long and slow on the exhale. And as you expand and contract, you may notice if you just move your awareness a little broader, your energy body breathing as well, expanding and contracting energy on the breath. Right? Your energy synchronizes, remember, with those 5 pillars, breath being one. Okay. And so now, we're not going to do it in depth, but bring your hand up to your third eye. Put your other hand down on the cauldron, down in the pelvic region, right? And now on your next exhale, allow your chest to widen, your muscles to relax, more space to open up, and feel the energy sink. Just allow your energy or your chi to sink. Again, inhaling and exhaling, visualize the energy just falling. Once the space opens, you're not clenched, once it opens, the chi will sink. Allow it to sink. It's coming down to your other portal point. It's coming down to the cauldron. It's coming down to the first dantian. You can let your hand fall a little bit. You're directing the energy in your body. You're helping the sinking motion of the chi. Allow it to drop down. Feel the energy pooling in the bottom half of your body. You may even be feeling weighted in your hips. Feel yourself with more sense of gravity as your energy sinks down into your power center. And this is where we direct the energy from. You can even drop your hand a little lower, somewhere down around your diaphragm, pulling it all down. Okay, so now our energy is slowed down, and I want you to notice that your consciousness, your thinking thoughts, it's somewhere up here. It's probably somewhere between your eyes and your ears is kind of where consciousness often hangs out. That's the busy place. I want you to just mentally shift your consciousness back and up. Still inside your head, but to the back and up. And they call this the higher mind. This is a quieter place to hang out and access intuition. So now we have our energy down in our cauldron. We're grounded. We probably feel more embodied and in more of an empowered position. And our brain is not buzzing. We're in a quieter state. And so from here, intuitively pick an essence that you have been doing work with for your manifestation. If you don't yet have one of those, then just pick joy. Okay, so allow whichever one it is. I personally love the timeline essence for this process, but you're welcome to use whatever essence literally is calling to you. So find the tiny spark of that quality in your body. If you've laid it down as a somatic track in your body, you may even see the pattern in your body. You know where it is in your body. Right? For those of us doing the joy, where is it in your body? The felt sensation of it. Even if it's just a tiny seed of it. What's a memory of it? Start triggering the memories of the essence. Feeling it ignite in the body. The memory is just guiding us to the felt sensation. Yeah, that's it. That's how I feel. Allow your body to shift and move in response to the essence. You may feel yourself expand up. You may feel your spine straighten. You may feel your chest expand. Or you may actually relax and soften. But respond to the essence. Breathe in, inhaling deeply. Life force, animus, from the air around you. Feed the essence. Feel it gain in intensity. Dial it up. And on the exhale, expand and ripple it out across the body. Across every cell, let your body relax into it. Inhaling again, breathing in the power of the divine creative substance, life on the air. Feeding the emotional quality. Feeling it. You're probably going to get more cascading of memories, of sensations, all the times you felt that. Expand, feed. And on the exhale, ripple out. Feel yourself actually expand on the expansion. Your light body is actually going to expand a little bit as you top up, as you fill up with the essence. Breathing and filling with essence. And now, ask yourself from this higher mind, from this essence state, what am I noticing in the classroom of my life? Spiral in and spiral out, backwards and forwards. And just jot down, without analyzing, without judging it right now, that's not this point of the process, anything you notice, anything that comes to your awareness. How do you feel about the direction, the magnetism? Okay, next question. What is the internal game right now? What is being offered to you as the internal transformation? Whatever it is. Feel the bubble up, and it doesn't matter if it makes no sense, if it doesn't even sound related, write it down. What is being offered right now as the internal transformation? You may think it's unrelated, but I guarantee you, you're in the process of manifestation and the divine is trying to bring you what you want. It will be telling you what's in service. Gently, gently, staying in empowered position, in higher mind, in expanded essence, very gently touch into the wounded, the worried, the doubtful, the fearful part, whatever it is. And just check in. What's it actually giving you? What's it saying? Not because what it's saying is going to drive everything, but so you can hear. So that you can be there and hold space for. The same as you would hold space for a friend in need or a child in distress. It's the same issue. What's really going on? Offer it essence. Offer it compassion. I hear you, right? And just notice what it's saying. We don't need a plan now. We're just hearing it. We're hearing it from leadership. It's not going to take over, but we're hearing it. Next question, what bubbles up? You may just be getting 1 or 2 words for each of these. That's perfect, okay? What is the path to empowerment here? Just notice what bubbles up. And let's dive into that a little bit here. What is the belief that would most serve me here on this path to empowerment? What is the action that would put me back in a direction towards empowerment? What essence, what quality would actually put me back on the path to empowerment? And it may not even be something yet in your apothecary. Maybe something to add, hey? Maybe a new one. Or it may be an essence you've been working with. Oh, yep, okay, I get it. Put my focus here. And so pause on that empowerment essence. Sit with the quality for a moment till something bubbles up. And when you're ready, breathe in life force. Find a memory of that essence in your body, an experience of it in your body. Breathe it, breathing in, feeding it, dialing it, allowing it to expand, get a little more saturated in it. Exhaling it back into your light body, expanding out. It'll mingle with the first essence just to feel the shift happen. This is the tweak, the recalibration. Breathing in that essence one more time. You could sit and do this for 3 or 4 minutes if you want, but we're not going to do it. We're just going to do it for a few seconds. Breathing it in. And just exhaling it and feel the subtle shift. I just sensed a shift actually straight away then. Everyone coming back onto empowerment path, correct direction. Can be subtle. Awesome. Okay, last question. Given all of this, any notes, any little scribbles that came up, anything that happened in the process, what inspired action could I take that would put me in greater alignment with my manifestation right now? By right now, keep it as small as in the next hour, today, right? And notice what comes. Now, it could be closing loops. It could be mitigating suffering. It could be working with an essence. It could be focusing on a very small action that you know you need to do. It could be tweaking the manifestation to alleviate suffering or fear. All of those. Anything we talked about today. What is the inspired action step? And for whoever it is that's getting several, there's probably quite a few of you, that's okay. But circle the one that is like bing, bing, bing. I want you to find the one, first one. And just circle it. Okay, exhale out. Complete. Okay, now that was pretty quick, but you should now have an inspired action step. I want to hear, you don't have to give me every detail if you don't want, but give me an idea. What was the action step? Was it essence? Was it loops? Was it tweaking? Was it soothing? Like, what was it? I want to know. Okay, everyone. That's all the process today, okay? That's it. And it was a little longer. I kept hoping I was going to get shorter and shorter, but I wanted to make sure that you had the actual process today for inspired action steps, so it pulled us back a bit. So, the portal closes officially today. You've probably felt the slight decrease. For me, I can feel the energy's cozying down a little bit. The manifestation hasn't finished, obviously, right? And here you now have everything you need to be sustainable and joyful. The practice of calling in the manifestation should actually always lead you to a more joyful state in progress, not because it's like I'll only be happy when I get it. No, the actual craft of manifestation should always be moving you to something that feels more empowering and that feels better in your body, okay? Otherwise, you're kind of on the wrong track. So keep that in mind, and everything in what we talked about today is the way to keep reattuning, okay? I am going to keep everything up in this series because lots of people came in late. I realized I gave you a really ridiculous amount of teaching. Sometimes I would just teach this as a course, no joke. But I decided to just give it openly to the community for Lionsgate. I'm going to keep everything up here for another week or two, maybe week and a half. And then I'm going to build it out properly as a full product with a ton of extra audios and processes and somatic work and all sorts of really cool stuff, including a manifesting oracle deck and the manifesting ritual in case someone needed a ritual, all of that stuff. But until then, I'm leaving it all here so you can just take time, absorb it, go through it. Okay. So tweaking, awesome. Closing loops, Jasmine in a bath. I also saw weaving, yeah. For weavers, weaving is always the fastest way to fix state, the fastest way to come back into magnetic state. Weave with the essences, any essence that you feel like, but just weave, keep the fluidity going. For anyone who is curious about weaving and would like to know more, I'm going to talk about it now in the group for a little bit. So look out, there'll be some more posts. You are welcome to ask me questions. If you want details on the upcoming training and initiation to become an energy weaver, let me know. You can put details please here or email me or DM me, I am writing all that up this week and I will just send it out as a PDF to anyone who wants to know all the details. Okay, much love to you all. Mwah. Have an amazing day, everyone. I'll talk to you later. Bye.